What's up, guys? Back with another video. I've got about 500 new followers or so over the past few weeks, which is pretty cool. So I wanted to make this message. Now, that number of followers often fluctuates based on what I post, a lot of unfollows in there as well. But before I get to that, I want to give you this message that I'm getting from my intuition or higher self or whatever vision I'm seeing, if that makes any sense to you. And if you guys were ever given the opportunity to like play with a Christmas gift or a birthday gift before the actual day, but then your parents said, okay, we got to rewrap it to put it under the tree. Imagine that sensation for the collective, the entire world right now, and then getting to Christmas Day to find out your parents took back that toy. Take that message for what you will. I've just been getting that over and over again. Now, the reason I'm making this video is because with the new followers and people who have been following me this whole journey of since January, I guess, since the year started, this stuff is not easy. I did not think that I would ever go down a path like this, and oftentimes I sometimes wish I wasn't on this path. I've lost so many people I thought were friends. I've lost family members and cousins I thought were close, and they laid us off with my job with COVID, and then when they brought people back on and I interviewed, I know the reason I didn't get my job is because I'm starting to speak my truth. So losing friends, unemployed, hard conversations, family not in my life, I never thought I'd go down this path. But in hindsight, I can say what I want to say now and not have fear of any repercussion, even when people call me names and do all those things, whatever. I didn't choose this path. I've always been left-leaning or liberal-leaning. I'm gay. I thought I had to go that way. I agreed with celebrity culture and mainstream, and I just thought that those are my views and that's the way it's supposed to be because those are the books I read and the TV I watched and the Netflix shows and the music I listened to, the artists I love, and that I'm gay. I thought that was the way. I don't want to make this a political video, but I do want to share with you why my thoughts have almost become so radical in another direction. 2020 is the year of shadows, individual and collectively. So it started with my personal journey back in January, February with the Reiki and meditation and breath work and all those healing modalities. But that's just for me individually. Collectively, shadows are coming up everywhere, which is actually an amazing opportunity for healing. Once those ugly things rear their head, it's a chance to review it. And it really, I guess, kind of starts with COVID back in March. This new virus that we don't know anything about, we're pretty scared of it. It almost feels like a severe storm is coming. And the media is telling you, be in fear. We don't know anything about this. It's so dangerous. And it felt like that storm was coming. We cleared the shelves of toilet paper and groceries, and it felt almost exciting to a point where we have 2 weeks off of school or 2 weeks off of work, whatever. And it's like a snow day. It's like being a kid again. And then it continued on, 2 weeks turned into 4 weeks, turned into 4 months, and where we are now. But the whole time we were told to be in fear. Even as we've learned new statistical data about the virus, about the 99% survival rate, we're still told to be in fear. That's the narrative that you're given. Now let's move on to a little later in 2020 with the social unrest that followed George Floyd's murder. And there's no way to justify murder. But the mainstream media told you what the narrative was before you even had a chance to ask. You couldn't look into any details without being called a racist. You couldn't just have your own free thought because that's not the narrative that fits. Oh, and yeah, remember your schools, your churches, your businesses are closed down, but people are out in the streets rioting? I don't know how that's political. It only fits your agenda one way or the other, but that's besides the point. Other shadow aspects have come up like human trafficking. And if the mainstream media even dares to talk about it, which they don't, you'll always get someone, well, 80% of those cases are from a family member or a neighbor or someone they know, like that's to discredit that it's an issue. It's coming up to be dealt with. That's what a shadow is. We all have them individual, and as we heal and raise our vibration, they're going to keep coming up. Now, the most current one, well, actually censorship too. My account's been shadow banned for speaking my thoughts. I really don't understand how anyone can argue that censorship is a good thing. especially when things like child pornography run rampant on the internet. How can you stop someone from speaking freely, but you can't prevent pornographic images of children circulating? It's besides me. Now, the most recent one that the media and everyone in on it as well wants you to think about is that we've elected our president. Did you know that the mainstream media does not elect our president? That this election is still currently going on. But they won't let you think that. They will continue to push this narrative down your throat. And I don't care which side you lean on. Just look at it. You also see the hypocrisy of social distancing. Social distancing, keep the crowd small. But what do you see the day that the media announces the election? What do you see? Do you see events around every city? Do you see that probably people in the streets are the ones who mailed in their votes because they were scared to go to a polling place? Just question things. I really don't want it to be divisive. I know oftentimes it seems like that's what I'm doing. I'm really just trying to draw a light to those shadows. And if I do trigger you, look at it as like a blessing, because that means something's coming up to be reviewed. A shadow's a good thing. Like, for light to be there, darkness has to be there as well. One last thought before I wrap it up is, this has been forecasted for a long time. If you're into astrology at all, we've been in the age of Pisces for the past 2,000 plus or so years. And now we're in the age of Aquarius, which is all about community, humans interacting, technological advancements, deception coming up to be dismantled. It's an amazing time to be alive right now, and just prepare. The shadows are going to come up in ugly ways again. If you saw the buildings and businesses being boarded up last week prior to the election, luckily nothing happened. But I'm afraid that when all these kids open up their Christmas presents and their favorite toy got returned to the store, the shadows might come up hard. I love you guys more than you know, and we'll talk soon. Cheers.